Ask him these questions before sleeping together. Women after 60 must watch. Welcome to Wise Life After 60. So grateful to have you here. There's a question every woman should ask before she gives her body, her trust, or her heart. Not to test a man, but to protect her own peace. It's not, "Do you love me?" or "Where is this going?" It's something quieter, deeper, and far more revealing. Before sleeping with him, ask this: what does this mean to you? The way he answers, or avoids answering, tells you everything you need to know. Because physical closeness without emotional honesty is just proximity. It's not connection. In that small question, you're not seeking reassurance, you're seeking truth. In today's video, we're revealing the 5 essential questions every woman should ask before intimacy. Questions that go far beyond romance or desire. These are the quiet, honest conversations that uncover a man's real intentions, his emotional readiness, and whether what you're about to share is connected or just company. Before we begin, tap that like button and subscribe to Wise Life After 60, your quiet space for timeless reflection, mature love, and the kind of wisdom that only comes with life lived deeply. Question number 1. What does this mean to you? It sounds simple, almost casual, yet it holds extraordinary weight. It turns a physical moment into an emotional mirror. Because before 2 bodies meet, 2 intentions have already met, or missed each other entirely. This was the question that changed everything for Claire, a 62-year-old woman who had rebuilt her life after divorce. When she met Michael, a widower, their chemistry was undeniable. They connected through conversation, humor, and that quiet comfort that only comes when 2 people who've lived enough finally meet someone who feels safe. After months of dinners and gentle affection, one evening the invitation of closeness appeared naturally. But as their hands touched, Claire felt something inside her hesitate. She realized the moment was rushing ahead of meaning. So she asked the question. Not defensively, not accusingly, but softly, with curiosity. What does this mean to you? Michael went silent. After a long pause, he answered quietly, "It means I don't want to be alone tonight." The honesty in his voice was painful, but it was real. In that instant, Claire understood that while she was ready for connection, he was seeking comfort. She smiled, thanked him for his truth, and gently stepped back. Later, she said, "That question didn't scare him away. It saved me from mistaking loneliness for love." Philosophers have always said that meaning precedes morality. Seneca once wrote that no act is good or bad until we understand its intention. The Stoics believed that awareness gives weight to action, and the same applies to intimacy. Asking, "What does this mean to you?" transforms the moment from instinct to intention. It filters out impulse and leaves behind what is real. At this stage of life, Love should bring peace, not confusion. That single question helps you see whether he's ready to meet you in honesty or simply seeking a distraction from his own emptiness. The mature heart no longer needs grand gestures. It needs truth. So before crossing that invisible threshold of intimacy, ask the question, and then listen, not to the answer alone, but to the tone, the eyes, the hesitation, because silence, too, is an answer. Question number 2. Are you emotionally available for what this could become? There is a difference between being single and being available. Many people confuse loneliness with readiness, attention with affection, and comfort with connection. That's why the second question every woman should ask before intimacy is this: are you emotionally available for what this could become? It's not a demand for commitment. It's an invitation to honesty. It's saying, if we share something physical, will your heart be here with me or somewhere else? With the past, with fear, or with someone you haven't let go of yet? Emotional availability isn't about how long someone has been single. It's about whether they've done the work of being whole again. You can be divorced for years and still haunted by what you lost. You can be widowed and still living half in memory. You can be dating and still unavailable because your heart is too guarded to be touched. When you ask this question, you are not asking for a promise. You are asking for presence. Let me tell you a story. After her husband's passing, Julia, at 64, met Alan, a retired architect who seemed calm, affectionate, and attentive. They spent their days walking by the sea, cooking together, laughing over wine. But Julia began to sense a distance in his eyes, something tender yet unreachable. One night, as they shared dinner, she asked him directly, "Are you emotionally available for what this could become?" Alan smiled sadly and said, "I thought I was, but I still talk to my late wife every night, not out loud, but in my mind. I haven't learned how to let her rest." That moment changed everything, not because Julia was hurt, but because she was enlightened. She didn't feel rejected. She felt free from illusion. Alan's honesty spared her months of silent guessing. Later she said, "I realized emotional availability isn't about wanting someone. It's about having space for them." Psychology calls this emotional presence, the ability to offer genuine attention without the shadows of old pain. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius would have called it undistracted living, being here, now, not replaying yesterday or rehearsing tomorrow. Asking this question helps you see whether the man in front of you is meeting you in the present or still entangled in unfinished grief, unspoken resentment, or nostalgia. The emotionally unavailable man isn't cruel. He's simply still healing. But that means he cannot yet meet your openness with the depth it deserves. And here's the truth. Love after 60 isn't about being needed. It's about being met, emotionally, spiritually, consciously. If his answer is unsure, take it as grace, not rejection. Because the moment someone admits they're not ready, they've already given you a gift, the freedom to protect your peace. So, before intimacy, ask him gently, are you emotionally available for what this could become? Say it with curiosity, not fear, because this question doesn't scare the right man. It awakens him. And if this reflection resonates with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Wise Life After 60 your sanctuary for thoughtful conversation, mature love, and timeless wisdom. Question number 3. How do you handle closeness? At first, it may seem like a simple question, one about boundaries, comfort, or even physical touch. But in truth, it's a question about the soul's capacity for intimacy. Because closeness isn't about proximity, it's about presence. It's not whether someone wants you beside them, it's whether they can let you in. Many people say they want love, but when it arrives, they pull away. They crave warmth, but fear exposure. They hold your hand, but keep their heart behind a locked door. Some people equate intimacy with loss of control, as if being known means being vulnerable, and being vulnerable means being unsafe. That's why this question matters. It gently exposes how a man relates to emotional depth. Does he lean in when things get serious, or does he change the subject when feelings appear? Does he talk about his past honestly, or does he joke it away? Does he stay steady when you express emotion, or does he shut down? Let me share a story. Peter, a retired professor, had been single for nearly a decade after his wife's death. When he met Leela, a woman who shared his love for literature and long walks, their connection was natural, comfortable, familiar, full of laughter. But Leela sensed something just beneath the surface, a distance wrapped in charm. One evening, while sitting together on her porch, she asked him softly, "How do you handle closeness?" Peter smiled, as if the question caught him off guard. After a long silence, he said, "I think I'm better at showing affection than receiving it. It feels safer that way." That honesty shifted something between them. It wasn't a confession of failure. It was a moment of clarity. It told Leela that his heart had learned to give, but not yet to trust. She didn't try to fix him or force him open. Instead, she respected his pace. In time, Peter began to soften, not because she demanded intimacy, but because she created safety. Philosophically, this echoes the teaching of Carl Jung, who wrote that we cannot truly meet another person until we have met ourselves. Closeness always brings up what is unresolved within. When two people dare to stay open, even when it feels uncomfortable, that's when intimacy matures into love. To ask, "How do you handle closeness?" is to say, "Show me your capacity for tenderness." It's a compassionate question, not a challenging one. It says, "I want to understand your language of love, not change it." And it's just as revealing when turned inward. How do you handle closeness? Do you tense when someone gets too near, emotionally or physically? Do you protect yourself with humor or logic when what you really crave is understanding? True maturity in love isn't about being fearless. It's about being aware of your fears and still choosing to stay open. That's what separates a connection that deepens from one that disappears. And remember, the right man won't be intimidated by this question. He'll recognize its wisdom, because deep down, he's been longing for the same thing you are. Not just touch, but trust. Question number 4. What are you looking for beyond attraction? Every relationship begins with attraction. It's the spark that reminds us we're still alive, still capable of feeling. But as we grow older, we learn that attraction alone is like a beautiful song that ends too soon. Sweet, but not enough to build a life around. That's why the 4th question to ask before intimacy is this: what are you looking for beyond attraction? This question doesn't challenge desire, it clarifies it. It separates those who seek connection from those who seek distraction. It asks whether the man in front of you is drawn by curiosity or by purpose. When you ask it, watch his eyes. If he hesitates, if he answers only in compliments or jokes, he's speaking from the surface. But if he pauses, thinks, and begins to talk about peace, companionship, growth, then you found a man who has begun to outgrow impulse and move toward intention. That's the space where lasting love begins. I once met a couple, Evelyn and Robert, both in their late 60s. They had met after years of widowhood, and when Evelyn first asked Robert this question, he said, "I'm looking for someone I can share the silence with." It was such a simple answer, yet it carried the wisdom of experience. He wasn't chasing passion for its own sake. He was seeking peace, the quiet comfort of being understood. Years later, Evelyn told me that one sentence told me everything I needed to know. He didn't want excitement. He wanted home. Philosophers through the ages have warned us about confusing the temporary for the true. Seneca wrote that desire should serve reason, not rule it. To know what we want beyond attraction is to rise from instinct to awareness. It's not to deny desire, but to direct it towards something meaningful. Asking this question also turns the mirror inward. What are you looking for beyond attraction? Is it safety, companionship, understanding? At this stage in life, we're not building castles of passion, we're building sanctuaries of peace. To know what you seek is to protect your time, your heart, and your energy from illusions that once cost you sleep. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever asked someone a question that revealed their true intentions before it was too late? Or maybe you wish you had? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be the quiet wisdom another woman needs tonight to protect her heart and choose love with clarity. Question number 5. Can we take this slow? In a world that moves fast, where people rush into connection to avoid feeling lonely, asking to slow down is an act of courage. It says, "I am not afraid of time. I am not afraid of waiting." It says that you value depth over excitement, meaning over motion. Margaret, a 65-year-old widow, once told me about the man who taught her this truth. His name was Daniel, a retired journalist who made her laugh like no one else could. After months of companionship, Daniel finally confessed he wanted to be closer. Margaret smiled, touched his hand, and whispered, "Can we take this slow?" He looked at her, surprised but not offended. Then he said, "You just became the first woman to make me want to go slower, not faster." They spent that night talking, not touching, about their children, their fears, and the quiet loneliness that had brought them together. When they finally did become intimate, months later, it wasn't just physical, it was sacred, because everything that came before had built trust, not tension. That's what this question does. It tests not patience, but respect. A man who truly wants you will never rush you. He will match your pace, not push your boundaries. He will want you in your entirety, your mind, your history, your tenderness, not just your body. Philosophically, this question carries the wisdom of self-possession. The Stoics taught that mastery over oneself is the highest form of freedom. When you choose to slow down, you reclaim control of your heart, your rhythm, your dignity. You no longer mistake urgency for importance or speed for sincerity. The man who truly cares will see your restraint not as hesitation, but as grace. He will understand that slowness is not rejection, it's reverence. Because when love is real, there is no finish line to cross. There is only presence to share. At this stage of life, you know that the sweetest things, trust, peace, devotion, all take time to grow. Intimacy, too, is no different. It deepens not through instant passion, but through the quiet unfolding of safety. So before crossing that threshold, look him in the eyes and ask gently, "Can we take this slow?" You're not testing him, you're showing him what real intimacy requires: time, tenderness, and truth. If his eyes soften and he smiles, you'll know. If he respects that rhythm, you found not just a lover, but a partner. Because love, when mature, no longer asks how fast can we get there, but can we stay here fully, honestly, and without fear. As we close today's reflection, let's return to where we began, to that quiet moment before intimacy, when honesty can save us from heartache, and awareness can turn attraction into understanding. Each question is a mirror. Together, they form a quiet language of self-awareness, a way to step into connection with open eyes and steady grace. Philosophers have said that wisdom begins in the art of asking. When you dare to ask, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. In love, that means you no longer wait to be chosen. You choose. You choose the pace, the truth, the kind of love that honors who you've become. Love after 60 isn't about intensity. It's about peace. It's not about possession, but presence. The body still hungers, but the soul now leads. And that is what makes connection in this season of life so rare and so profound. So before sleeping with him, ask the questions that protect your heart. Because a wise woman doesn't fear the answer. She values the truth. If this message spoke to you, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Thank you for sharing this quiet moment of reflection with me.